as we bring another in our series of OESBD Community Connections. Next slide. So OESBD and Community Connections. Before I tell you a little bit about who we are, I want you to understand that the Office of Economic and Small Business Development on behalf of Broward County is the office responsible for working with our public-private partner, the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, as we try to sustain, expand, and grow existing businesses in Broward, as well as attract new businesses in Broward. And they do that for us in 8 target industry. But we're also the office that works within the county's procurement to assure that at least 25% of what the county buys, we buy from certified small businesses. So we have a certification program. So whether it's economic development, whether it's small business participation, whether it's entrepreneurial startup programs to aid small businesses and those who want to go into business, there's quite a bit that happens in our office. We are small business focused, though within the 31 cities of Broward, over 80,000 businesses in Broward County, 1,300 square miles, 2 million residents, a county budget of over 7 billion. There's so much that's going on, and all of it, directly and indirectly, deals with economics, deals with economic impacts, deals with growing the economy in Broward County. So as an office, as we look to do these things, as you look at the slide that says about OESBD, who we are and what we do, and we also serve as that county service agency, working with all the agencies, once again, that's looking to buy. We say all of this because the Community Connection series, which you are a part of today, is why we want you to know it's not just us. There are solid, true, genuine community partners that we also use. So as you learn a little bit more about us, today we're going to highlight another one of those wonderful community partners. Next slide. But before we get to that community partner, I want to remind you, our certification program is here. It's actually online. And as you know, the county looks to buy at least 25% of what the county buys. We want to buy from certified small businesses. So we want you to get certified. We want you to understand how to get certified. And after certification, it's not over, it's just beginning. We want to make sure we can develop you, prepare you, and help you to navigate the county procurement process, where hopefully you can win bids and be a part of contractors that win bids so that your goods, materials, and services can be used by Broward County. So get certified. It's online. All the information is there that you need. Follow us on the website. And again, any troubles or issues, call us directly. Next slide. This is one way to stay connected. Glad you're joining us again today for this connections, this community connection. But we got a weekly newsletter. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. We're trying to find the ways not to be social media savvy for the sake of it. We want to be social media savvy because we got to find the best way to inform you and disseminate information to you. Because it's for naught if we have all this information and we can't get it to you. So these are ways that you can stay connected to us. Next slide. And FITSE, Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo, it is back. Of course, we took a hiatus like everyone else last year due to COVID, but it's back. We will be having our international conference. This is the chance for our small businesses to engage our international market, to learn more and potentially even develop relationships if your good, material, or service can be used overseas. The ideal is that we want to connect you with international partners. So FITSE is just one of the ways Broward County through our office does so. Next slide. So now we're at today. Again, this is our series of OESBD community partners, OESBD connections. We're trying to make sure that you know for all the things that we do not do them alone. We have serious county partners who at the end of the day are there to aid our small businesses in so many different ways. If you started with us on this series, we started this series with Career Source Broward. Then we moved on to the Urban League of Broward County. And here we are today with a very good friend, someone I met 8 years ago when I first got here, and Mr. Rafael Cruz, who's the executive consultant for the SBDC, is going to give you some information that's invaluable to you. Information that I know that you can use. And the thing I like about Rafael, if he wasn't on the screen, I'll say it. He is truly from back in my Michigan days, of what we call straight no chaser. The way he introduces, the way he shares information, the way that he consults with small businesses is genuine, it's open, and it's honest. Other folks use an old term called tough love. Nope, it just happens to be genuine, open, and honest. And he and his team is here to aid you if you're receptive and receiving to the services they provide. They're here to provide it, but at the end of the day, they want to make sure that it's being received. So I want to introduce you today to someone I've known for my 8 years being here in Broward County, and someone who certainly supports the county, but at the end of the day, supports businesses, support small minority businesses, support medium-sized businesses, and supports the scaling up of businesses right here in Broward County and beyond. Rafael Cruz. So Rafael, thank you for joining us today, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandy, and thanks to your team. Like Sandy said, you know, I've known him since he landed here in Broward County, and he's done a wonderful job leading the division in terms of what they've done and things like that, helping small businesses. And of course, his team today, you know, there's Vanetta and Izan. And without her, I probably wouldn't be here, because she just kept me in track to make sure I got here on time. So for all you that are listening, I can't see you, and I'm going to turn off my camera so you can just hear me going forward. Okay, but I just wanted to say hi for a minute there. All right, I'm going to turn off my camera so that we can get down to business. Okay, if you can give me the next slide. Thank you. So let me introduce the Small Business Development Center. Okay, and we call the Florida Small Business Development Center. And as you see, we're a network of partners, right? And one of our partners is the county, right? Broward County. But you see that we cover all the state of Florida. And actually, it's a national program. It's a federally funded program. And we're funded by the state of Florida, by local partners, Florida Atlantic University in this case, and the federal government, right, through the SBA. But you see there that we cover everywhere in Florida. So wherever you are, there's an SBDC that can help you, right? And we are, one of the things that we're proud of is that we're designated as Florida's principal provider of small business assistance, okay? So the state of Florida itself has said that we're its principal provider of small business assistance when the state of Florida needs help in helping small businesses. All right, so next slide, please. We have a professional workforce, okay, of thousands of years of business experience. Okay, to work on our team generally, you don't only need the academic credentials and things like that, but the real world credentials, okay, meaning that you own the business, a successful business, you ran that business, or you worked in the corporate area, you know, very specific to a field, okay, you know, and those are the types of folks that we have, certified, credentialed, right? The other thing that we're very focused on is that we're community-based, right? The SBDC, you know, at FAU is in your region, right? We're here, we live here in Broward County and Palm Beach County. We work with businesses in our region. We drive around and we see your businesses, right? So we're part of the community that we're working in. And it's important to us that the businesses in that community are successful. Because when the businesses in a community are successful, okay, a lot of other things are successful in the community also. It's important to note that we're results driven. All right, so we're not there just to have conversations in theory about this, that, or the other. We're very focused on your business objectives and helping you achieve those business objectives. Next slide, please. Now, in general, these are who we serve, right? Pre-ventures are people that haven't started yet, right? Emerging are those people that are 3 years and less, and established businesses are three years or more with 3 employees. So it's 3 and 3, right? Now, this is in general, you know, who we serve. This goes up and down. But I like to tell people we serve serious pre-ventures, right? Emerging businesses and established businesses. So if you have an ongoing concern, you have a business that's running now, okay? We work with mostly those types of businesses, but we're very much into helping startup businesses as long as they're serious about starting up, okay? And if you're serious about starting up, then we're serious about helping you start properly and doing the right things so that your business is successful from the very start, okay? Next slide, please. Now, what are the ways that we help? All right, we work directly with the business leader, with the owner of the business, the CEO of the business, the leadership of the business. All right, we don't work with a representative. We don't work with a consultant on your behalf. We don't work with your lawyer or your CPA. We work with you, the business owner. because it's important for you to understand that it's difficult for your business to grow beyond you, beyond the owner and the leadership team. So in business, what you don't know can in fact hurt you, or if it doesn't hurt you, it can cost you a lot of money, right? So what you want to do is you want to be working with folks that help you develop, and you want to build a team around you, okay, that's based on what you need, not what you already have, right? So the way that we help business leaders is through professional consulting, okay? And that's no charge to you. I want to let you know that that's prepaid by your tax dollars, so that's no charge to you. Professional business consulting by appointment. We work by appointment, right? We do training, okay, in basic to advanced topics, right? And we do research, data, and information, business information. We help you get some business information so you make data-based decisions, not just, oh, I feel this is the right thing to do. You have data to make that decision, right? So that's how we help business leaders. Next slide, please. Now, it's important to understand, when we talk about small businesses, okay, the reason that the Broward County Office of Economic and Small Business Division and the Florida SBDC Small Business Development Center, the reason that we can help businesses is because we've helped thousands of businesses, thousands upon thousands of businesses. And we see the ones that have succeeded and we've seen the ones that haven't. And the ones that haven't, these are the main three reasons that they don't, right? There's lack of knowledge, lack of experience, lack of capital, right? Most people always think it's lack of capital, but the knowledge and the experience wind up being the two leading causes, because it's something you don't know that actually finally got you, right? Now, you can't know everything, but you can know a lot, and you can know a lot more than you know now, right? And lack of experience, that's just folks starting businesses that they don't have any experience in the industry, they don't have any experience in the actual running of a business, okay? And that can hurt them. So we always counsel people like that to get the time and get the experience to learn the business side of things. All right, and if you need certifications and education in an area, then you get that so that you're much more likely to be successful. And then we deal with the capital issue, right? Next slide, please. Now in Florida, they're constantly doing surveys across Florida, right? You have the chambers doing these surveys, you have economic development agencies doing these surveys, and across Florida, we coagulate this information. And these are the top challenges that Florida businesses say that they face. Now, this is what they say they face, right? Access to capital, they say, is the number one thing that's the hardest thing for them happening, right? Is access to capital, growing their market, strategic planning, right? Dealing with technology and operations management, right? Now, that's what the businesses say themselves, the business owners. But in reality, sometimes when you get down into it with the businesses, is not access to capital, okay? It's actually market growth or strategic planning. And it's because of lack of strategic planning or lack of ability to grow the market or look at the market and have a penetration into the market, that's the need for the capital. If they penetrate the market properly, guess what? They wouldn't need that capital, or they can self-fund themselves, right? Engagement with technology, that's a consistent thing nowadays, only because, right now we're on Zoom, okay? A year and a half ago, we weren't using Zoom that much for these types of meetings. Now we're using it all the time. Okay, now operations management, even though it's low there on the scale at a 9%, right? Operations management, especially if you're dealing with services, okay, how your processes are handled and how you have those processes formalized and written down and things like that can be a make or break point for the growth in your business. So all of these things are the things that we look at when we start to work with the business. These are just some of the things that we work with, but these are the main challenges that Florida businesses say they face. So we focus on those things, right? Next slide, please. Today, just to keep it relevant, what I want to do is I want to talk about some specialized services, all right, that the SBDC offers. We offer a variety of services, but I'm just going to cover a few of our specialized services. Next slide, please. And here you see international trade, all right? International trade, Sandy touched upon that with the FITSE, okay, event that we're gonna be having, all right? And we've always partnered and participated in that event from its founding, all right? We're one of the founding partners on that event. Okay, next slide. These are some of the services that you'll see, and you'll see the one-on-one consulting you'll see be repeated in all, right, in international trade. These are some of the things that we help businesses do in international trade. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that one of our just top partners, of course, is one of Sandy's teams, Paola. All right, and she's been working with us since the very beginning, since we started international trade. Some 40 years ago in the state of Florida with the SBDC, and the county started their international trade program. Paola has been a phenomenal partner. She just knows so much, and really has done such a wonderful job in building those connections. The world is a lot smaller, right, than folks want to believe it is, and you want to be able to sell not only in your own backyard, but in other folks' backyard too. Okay, so growing your business to a point where you can actually do some international trade is a great idea. It's a great way to diversify your portfolio, okay, of customers and markets. All right, so that when things happen, you can either increase your sales on the trade side or decrease them, whatever you need. All right, so at the SBDC, we help you, okay, develop your business so that it's ready for international trade. All right, next slide, please. Now, those businesses that are right on the brink, okay, and are manufacturers, all right, and service providers, okay, in state of Florida, all right, okay, we, in a partnership with Commerce, okay, and the state of Florida, okay, develop what we call an export marketing plan, right? And the export marketing plan is a thorough assessment of your readiness, all right? It's industry and market analysis with target market recommendations, and it's a review of overseas opportunities, right, for what you sell, okay, or what you make. And then we come up with an action plan based on that readiness assessment of your business. Okay, this is a deep dive that we do, that the consultants that we have. I'm a certified global business practitioner, which means that I've worked in the international trade area, and I ran an international trade desk for an international company long time ago. Okay, so I pass a test, I get certified, and on the team, I can tell you, we have people like Paula on our team that, as much as I know about it, they know a lot more. All right, so I don't even consider myself an expert, and I'm certified in the area. Okay, so that's the type of experts that we have. That's the type of experts you have in Paula there at the county. So if you don't reach us, you reach in Paula. That you're getting the top line, across the board there. All right. So international export marketing plan services is one of the things that we do for existing businesses that are based in Florida, that are new to export or relatively new to export, and they're manufacturing, and they are service providers. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, I'd be remiss, right? We just had one of these things pass by, and luckily it passed us around the other side, right? We talk about business resiliency. We talk about disaster preparedness. All right, this is very, very important, especially now. We like to tell people, okay, in Florida, we don't really have a hurricane season. You have in hurricane season and preparing for hurricane season, right? So if you're in business, this is not a luxury anymore. This is something that should be part of your planning, part of your strategy, right? And in Florida, we're always used to seeing this, right? This was our disaster preparedness image, right? Next slide, please. Now, this is part of our disaster preparedness image, right? So this pandemic, well, there were scientists and other people that were talking about this for 30 years, right? So it had not hit us, but we didn't have pandemics, but there were epidemics. Okay, epidemics were happening around the world, right? Next slide, please. So one of the services that we provide, okay, specialty services, is business resiliency and business continuation. All right, some people call it sustainability. Okay, now this is important because if you're in Florida and you have a business and you're writing your business plan or your strategic plan, or you have a business plan or strategic plan. Now, this is where the straight with no chaser that Sandy was talking about comes out now. Okay, if you ask me to read your business plan and I don't see any mention of water, disaster, hurricane, or anything like that, then you haven't finished your business plan, bottom line. Because if you can't tell me where you're going to keep your key data and how you get in touch with your key people and how do you stay in touch with your customers, all right, then you're not ready. Okay, and it's as simple as that, right? So getting that plan in order, okay, is very important. We can help you do that. We have specialists that help with that, getting that plan in order. okay? Now, the thing in red there that you see, over the last year and a half, one of the main things that the SBDC has been doing is helping businesses with all of the disaster loan assistance that's been out there. All right, so all those PPP loans, all the economic injury disaster loans, all the programs that have been out there, we are trained with the right arm of the SBA when it comes to that. You know, we were working with, we've helped businesses get millions and millions and millions, access millions and millions and millions of dollars through those disaster loan assistance programs. All right, the county is doing the same thing, has been doing the same thing. So we've been working in conjunction with them doing this, and we continue to do this. All right, so that's a main thing. So when disasters happen, especially right after, if it's a hurricane type of a disaster, you know, next slide, please. We even have 2 of these bus-size units that when a disaster strikes, okay, we found from history, right, that we would send people down to these places, and then it was very difficult for them to engage with folks, okay, right after a disaster, right? It's hot, you get mosquitoes, you get whatever's happening. So we pulled together and we got 2 of these units, right? And what they are is air conditioned and inside their offices, so that we can bring people inside after disaster. They can get a little comfortable. We can talk about helping them get their business back up and running, access to resources that are available to them. So these things move around, all right? The state, when, especially after we have a disaster, okay? So as soon as we can get them in, we get them in, all right? And we work in conjunction with the leadership in a county to bring these resources to the county, all right? So that the SBDC could be there on the ground, okay? Because depending on the level of hurricane that we have, all right, we may need a resource like this in the county. So that's how seriously we take this, and that's how seriously we want you to take it, all right? When we talk about making your business resilient and talking about the sustainability of your business, how does your business go beyond the disaster, whatever type of disaster that is? Okay, next step, please. One of the other services, you know, that we work on very closely with, okay, and we have very deep knowledge and experience in, is government contract. All right, next slide, please. All right, so in the areas of government contract, again, you have that one-on-one consulting, but we have guidance, you know, on procurement and contracting requirements, and we're going to be straight with you, okay? There's a lot of misinformation. I'll just say this: there's a lot of misinformation out there in the community about government contracting. People are going to try to convince you, hey, start a business tomorrow and you can get a big contract the day after. You cannot. It would be irresponsible for any government agency to give someone that doesn't know what they're doing or just started yesterday a major contract, because they have no track record. So we let you know about the contracting requirements. We're very upfront about it. We let you know about the contracting and certification requirements. We work closely with Sandy and his team. He has a whole professional team over there that are experts in certification and contracting, okay? So while we tend to focus on the federal level and we do some of the state stuff, and Sandy's team are expert in the county, state, and federal level. So he has people that cover the whole thing, right? And we work in conjunction with them, okay? We talk about once you get certified and once you understand those requirements, how do you go about doing bids and solicitations, all right? How do you get on, okay, the resources so that you can actually get in your email every day bids, that are sent to you based on what you put in the system, right? So that you're finding out, hey, what's out there? Okay, next slide, please. There's that help with the certification, okay? So women-owned, minority-owned, hub zone, right? 8A program, that's an SBA program, okay? Veteran-owned, all right? All those different types of certifications, right? We help you with them, okay? Now, help does not mean we do it for you. Help means we help you, okay? It's very important that you understand these things, right? Because you're the business owner, okay? You're the business owner, right? And then last but not least, right, when you get certified, the way I like to say that is if you're in the ocean and you're swimming around, every once in a while, you're gonna run into a shark. When you're certified, we put you in a pool with sharks, right? So what happens is everybody is a woman-owned business or everybody is a minority-owned business. So that gets taken off the table. So now you have to market because your business is better than everybody else's at doing the job that you say you're going to do. Right. So that's where the marketing comes in. Right. So identifying the bid opportunity, and then how do you have your capability statement written properly? Okay. How do you build your past performance history? All right. So that you can market yourself effectively to government agencies and let them know, I'm not just saying I can do this, I can actually do this, and here's the proof. All right. That's the marketing side of it. And we help you with that too. All right. Next slide, please. Now, this is the one, right, that everybody, oh, this is the one we want to talk about first, right? Access to capital, right? Well, guess what? Access to capital is not what people think it is, okay? I'll explain it in a minute, right? Next slide. Right, and the access to capital, again, we do the one-on-one consulting, and that, again, is happening with the business owner, the business CEO, right? But access to capital, why do we have business plan development there? Because if you don't have a plan, should anybody be putting capital in? No, and there's no plan. Right? Well, it's all up here, and I'm pointing to my head, right? How some of us do, it's all up there, right? Yeah, no, it's not up there. It needs to be on paper, and people need to see it. People need to understand it, okay? So what happens is you have to have some kind of plan written down, okay? It doesn't have to be a 50-page plan, but it has to be something written down that people can understand and make sense of. Because if you can articulate your business and what you're doing, it's hard for investors and or a bank or anybody else that's loaning you money, because that's the two ways you get capital into the business, right? It's debt or equity. Debt is somebody loans you the money and you owe it back. Equity is somebody's investing and they want a return on that investment. Either way, they're looking for that plan. They're looking for that team. They're looking for how are you doing it and how is it different and how are you going to guarantee paying me back or giving me a return on my investment, right? So we also talk heavily about loan requirements, okay? We don't want you running around thinking that just because, okay, you're such and such of whatever it is, you have a green shirt on, okay, and you heard there's a program for people wearing green shirts. No, there are requirements for getting a loan. And loan requirements involve, right, how you express that you're going to pay back the loan, right, when you access that capital, or how you express how you're going to provide a return on investment to your investors. Okay, so that has to be very clear, right? We help you with the loan package development, the documents that you need. We review those documents to make sure that they're correct, they're up to date. One of the things I would urge everybody on this call to do, you can get an official free, okay, credit report, right? You go online, free credit report, you get on there, okay? And what you want to do is you want to run your credit report, all right, and you yourself want to check it long before you ever need to borrow money, because there's a good chance there may be an error on that credit report, especially the more common your name is. My name is Rafael Cruz, and in Spanish, that's a pretty common name. So I check my credit report every once in a while because some other Rafael Cruz may have slipped on my credit report, and guess what? I didn't buy that Hummer, okay? I didn't do that, right? So you have to make sure, and you want to do this well before you approach banks or anybody else when you're going to be talking about your loan package development, or you're talking about accessing capital, right? So you know what's happening with your credit situation long before anybody looks at it, right? And we talk about sources of capital all the time, and of course we give training on access to capital, right? So next slide, please. Now, those are the specialty services. Those are just some of the specialty services. These are additional core services, okay, that we at the SBDC cover. And you'll notice, you know, strategic planning is number one, right? Because we work a lot with businesses on working on a holistic plan for their business, right? How are these things working together, right? How are these things working together for the business? How is your marketing strategy working with your sales strategy? And how is that integrated with your operations? How's your leadership team rounded out so that, you know, business has the appropriate leadership? Okay, what's the long-term plan? How are you managing your brand? Okay, you see at the bottom, branding is there. Now we have in the bottom there, you know, we have market analysis, but you know, digital marketing and branding, these are very important things. How are you building your brand? Okay, and in terms of brand, everybody needs to be thinking about how they're building a brand, right? And a short, quick story about branding and what branding is. Okay, branding comes from the cattle industry, right? And what happened is, cattle was raised, okay, down on the ranches, far away from where cattle was processed and turned into meat and then shipped out, which is generally in Chicago and those areas like that, right? So you had the cattle drive, and you move the cattle, you literally walked it from one place to another. So how do I know which cattle came from my ranch and which cattle came from your ranch? We put a brand on it, right? So when it got to market, people would say, oh, wow, that's from the Double R Ranch. I know they raise their cattle well. So the brand meant quality. Brands make a quality promise. It makes a quality promise. You're telling your customers about the quality of the service or the product that you provide. That's what a brand is. And then brand is turned into also a relationship with you and your customer base. All right. So nowadays, there are sophisticated ways through digital marketing, social media, and other things to manage your brand and engage with your customer base, right? So that you're making sure they're getting what they need from you, and you know what they need, so you can develop new products and services to continually serve them and help them have a better life. Okay. Now, I don't want to minimize the fact that we work with startups, all types of startups. We do tech startups. We're part of FAU, so we're part of the tech runway. Okay, and we work, and that's a technology incubator. All right, and we work with the FAU WAVE program, which is for FAU WAVE for students at FAU. Okay, that want to be entrepreneurs and they want to try out their hand at entrepreneurship. So we're involved at all levels of entrepreneurship. Okay, the only thing I like to make that caveat is that we want to work with serious entrepreneurs, right? And entrepreneurship, I will say it. A lot of people won't say it. I will say it. It's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Okay, it's not a panacea. It's hard work. Okay, it's humbling work. Okay, but it's satisfying work. But it's not about you. Entrepreneurship is not about the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is about the entrepreneur's customers. It's about your customers. It's about who you're helping. That's what entrepreneurship is ultimately about. All right. So you see, again, we have financial analysis there. Finance is the language of business. Numbers are the language of business. So we want you to get at least good at understanding those numbers. You don't need to be a CPA, and we're not trying to turn anybody into an accountant or a CPA. Those people exist. They're professionals. They're out there. They're out there to help you. But you need to understand the information that they're giving you. You need to take the financial information that you're getting so that you can make clear, okay, you can make clear, all right, decisions based on that financial information that your business is giving you on a monthly basis. All right, information about your revenue, information about your cost, your fixed and your variable cost, and all those other different things. All right, that's what those numbers are telling you something. You need to understand what those numbers are telling you, because that helps you run the business more efficiently and more effectively. Okay, next slide, please. And we want to take a minute, okay, because whether you think you are or you aren't, we are all reopening. All right, we are all in a reopening phase. All right, so some general hints, some general things, okay, before we close out here, all right, on our discussion of what the SBDC does, okay, is we want to talk to you about, okay, a couple of things, okay, when you begin now reopening, all right? So next slide. First, your safety protocol must be easy to understand, clear, and apparent for your customers, right? There's some people out there that are not worried about the virus. They're just, hey, they're in a world where they're not thinking about it. That's okay. But for those folks that might be nervous about it still, that have not gotten vaccinated yet, or whatever the case is, you want to let folks know that you're thinking about it, that you're taking care of the situation, that you're taking care of the safety, not only of them as they come into an engagement with you, but you're thinking about your team and your staff and yourself, right? So your safety protocols and your safety process needs to be clear, understandable, and made available for everybody to see, right? Next slide, please. It can be as simple as the first one, or it can look like this one, right? Now, these resources you can get online. Okay, this is from Florida Health, all right? You can get it from American Red Cross. You can get it from the CDC. The county has resources in this area. The county has the experts in this area, okay? But the thing is, there's no reason that you should not have a clear, concise, okay, protocol in place and processes to support that protocol. So how often are you cleaning the surfaces, okay? Who ensures that folks are 6 feet apart? You know, did you put the little signs down? Do you remind people in a gentle and friendly way? Hey, listen, you know, let's try to keep the social distance, okay, while we're in the place, okay, and let's keep it great for everybody. Right. So what are you doing, okay, so that people are comfortable as they go into your place of business and they engage with you and your team, right? Next slide. Now that's just a sample. The first one was, okay, from American Red Cross. The next one is from Florida Health. And this one is from, of course, the CDC. You can see that in the bottom left-hand corner, all right? So this information, of course, was, I kept it there because you'll see, all right, that this is before the vaccine. So you see that this information changes. So I want you to be aware of that so that when you pull up information, if you have something old, please get something new, all right? This was pre-vaccine information. I left it there on purpose. And so that you can see, I don't want you to make the mistake of having old information there. The information changes as the science evolves. So your process and your protocols need to change and evolve as the things around you change and evolve, right? Next. Now, what can you do as a business level? One of the most important things to do is keep the lines of communication open. It's important to understand that through this pandemic, one of the big areas that businesses are falling on is communication, right? Either they did not have the means, okay, necessary to communicate with their customers, or they just couldn't get up to speed, right? So now, if you have survived this pandemic, that is a very, very good thing, and you need to let your customers know that. You need to let all of your customers, the current and existing ones, the ones that you had before the pandemic, let them know you're still here and you're still doing business. A lot of people think, wow, I haven't heard from them, they're out of business. Maybe they went out of business because of the pandemic, and they won't take the time to find you. You have to take the time to communicate to them, to reach out and let them know, hey, we're still here, we're still open for business, we can't wait to see you. All right, so communication is key in this post-pandemic phase, right? And it also gives the opportunity to start building your communication base, right? So what do you do to collect information so that you can communicate with your customers? You get those emails, you get the phone numbers. You're the type of business that collects more information than that. You know, you collect addresses and things like that through credit cards. So whatever it is, however you communicate with your customers, make sure that that communication is happening, that is consistent, and that they know that you're here and that you have survived this, and you're here to still provide them the great service that you provide them before, okay, the pandemic, right? Next slide, please. The other thing is, okay, I love children, so you know, that's why I use the cute little pictures of the kids. All right, you have to play to your strengths. Okay, you don't downplay your weaknesses, but you have to play to your strengths. Right? What is it? And this is a great time for self-assessment. Okay, and for debrief with yourself and your team. All right, what got us through? Okay, what are the strengths that we relied on to get us through to this point that we're still here, and now we're in the post-pandemic series, okay, of things, and what got us here, right? Because it's your strengths that you're supposed to be building upon, right? We protect from our weaknesses, and we develop our weaknesses to a level of competency. We just want to be competent, okay? But our strengths are the things that we need to focus and invest the energy in. Okay, that's where you need to invest your energy in, is what you're already strong in. Right? Something that you're very, very weak in, you're likely not to get strong in it before somebody else who's already strong in that gets better, right? So start where you're strong and become really strong, right? So do a strengths analysis, okay, of your organization. What are the things that kept us going? Was it the team? Was it our processes? Was it we had a boatload of cash that we were able to lean on? Okay, did we access resources quicker than other people because we had our documentation in place? We're big believers in that. We tell you now, okay, to prepare for next year's disaster. You know, why don't you have all of your documentation, you know, proof of the ownership of the business, your leases, okay, credit reports for both you and the business, right? Last 3 years of your taxes, all these things in a digitized form, held offline somewhere in the cloud that you can access directly after a hurricane. Pull it down, pull it up on your phone, and you can show anybody that you need to, hey, it's me, and here's our documentation. Good, we're good to go. We can process you through this process right now, okay? Where somebody else comes in, yeah, it's my business, but I don't have any proof. I can't show you anything because it all got blown away, all right? So one of your strengths should be that, right? That you're more prepared than your competitors, okay? So these are the strategic things that the SBDC helps you think about. These are the strategic things that the county wants you to work on and they help you think about. All right, so playing to your strengths is critically important, okay, while you identify your areas that need development, your weaknesses, right? Because we don't want to get blindsided by those weaknesses. And sometimes that's why you need the outside help. Now, it's important to understand the SBDC, okay, we don't make decisions for you, all right? We're professional consultants, okay, that are brought on, okay, and we form a team here in the community to work with businesses to help those businesses succeed and move forward, right? But we do not perform magic or miracles. We don't, nobody can, right? Business is a discipline and we take a disciplined approach, right? And we work with partners closely like the county, okay, to help you move your business forward. But the hard lift, the hard work is you and your team, right? Because you're the business owners. You're the ones that are running it, and you're the ones ultimately that make the executive decisions. You're the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, right? So next slide, please. Now, the easiest way to reach us is sbdc.fau.edu. That's our website. And you go to our website and you'll see that nice picture there, and you'll see a link, you know, click to sign on, okay, for a consultation, all right? And you can read up about things. You can see some of the success stories that we've had across the board, so that you know, we work for-profit businesses. We also work for not-for-profit businesses. And we're one of the few SBDCs that work inside of what's called the creative economy. Okay, we partner with the cultural division of the county. So not only economic development division, but the cultural division of the county, working with artists and creative economy folks to help them develop their businesses. All right, so the SBDC has been around for a long time, okay, and we've been partners with the county for as long as we've been around, right? And the county has been a fantastic partner. The leadership of the commission and Sandy specifically in terms of his commitment and his team's commitment to economic development and helping you do business. You need to understand, okay, that you may or may not know this, but if you just go look around the country, not every county does this. What's happening right now, this community connection, these kind of things, putting you in touch with the resources that are out here. Not every county, okay, has that commitment to their small businesses. So in other places, you get lip service. Here, you get action, all right? So Sandy and his team won't say this, but I will say this. It's important for you, the people that are online right now listening to this, it's important for you to send a message to your commissioner and say, thank you for this service. Thank you for having a team, okay, like the Office of Economic and Small Business Development there that can help us, that puts us in contact with resources. Thank you for supporting that and deciding to keep that in our community to help me and my small business colleagues around the county, all right? Because there are other places that don't have this kind of support, don't have the expert team that you have at your fingertips in Sandy and his team at the county, and then putting you in contact with folks like us at the SBDC, all right? Because the SBDC, we know that we're one of the most best kept secrets because we put most of our funding into helping you, not into marketing us. So we rely on our partners like this. This is how we market, because we figure the folks that are online are the people that need to hear about us. Anybody else, they don't really need to hear about us, but the serious business people that took the time today to invest in a process like this, okay, you need to hear about us, all right? So when you come on, you sign up. If you specifically want to talk to me, right, you just need to put, you know, was that, you know, Rafael's event, you know, would like to talk to him if I can. I will let you know, okay? I'm a popular consultant, so, you know, you're not gonna get to see me next week. Okay, so if you have a little bit of patience, all right, I'll get to you as quickly as I can, all right? But next slide, please. All right, so now the county's gonna take it over, okay, for some Q&A. So if you have some Q&A, and I'll tell you, if you have a question, I'm just gonna let you know this. If you have a question that's specific to you, all right, and it can't help everybody else, I won't answer that question on the line here because that's a very specific question. But if you have a general question or something like that, we'll answer the ones that we can, okay, that help in general, that are going to help folks, walk away with a better understanding of things in general, okay? So Sandy, back to you, and my pleasure, as always, to be part of one of these sessions.
Rafael, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that information. Hopefully that information is well received. My staff will certainly repeat later on that I'm sure we're going to have this entire PowerPoint placed up on our website for you guys to have. But again, as you heard him say, and I'm going to start at the end, a very, very sought out consultant. So unfortunately, you can't get him 10 minutes from now. However, follow his instructions, reach out, have some patience and schedule. He'll be able to get with you. But more importantly, he made sure that you are also aware as a team, his shop, that address where you can also get information. The other part that I also want to reemphasize is that, especially on the entrepreneurial side, he's right. It's not for everybody. And that's not a statement of discouragement or running your way. It's a statement of value proposition. One of the things that entrepreneurs need to understand on the front end is not a 9 to 5. Your sweat equity, your time, your investment is far beyond what traditionally as a day job is a 9 to 5. So you should prefer that someone is honest and open with you on the front end instead of after taking up 10, 20, 30, 40% of your time and your investment. So in the end, in addition to all the services that the SBDC makes available throughout the county and the region, in addition to the partnerships they have with organizations like my office and the county specifically, they're trying to make sure that you are aware that there's a connection, there's a bridge, especially us here in South Florida, acknowledging and recognizing hurricane season and the activities that go into hurricane season, as you heard him say, pre-season, during and post. We're in it year round because the ideal of hurricane season, which is today, hopefully you did what you were supposed to November, December, January, February, waiting on a day like this all the way up until mid-November. So again, as a real partner, SBDC is here for you, is here with the county, and is here to assure that the additional resources we need for businesses can be made available. So thank you again, Rafael, and we will take some questions. So Vanetta or Pam, let us know what questions, and Rafael or myself will try to answer some.
Sure.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Vanetta. I will start reading the questions in the Q&A, and my colleague Pam will handle those that might have been entered into the chat. While I start, I just want to note that if you have entered a question into the Q&A or a comment or a statement, just take a moment to review what you've written and to clarify if you can. If there isn't a direct question, we may skip it. But if it is a clear question, we'll go ahead and address it. The first item that we have in the Q&A is from Paula Gutierrez. She notes one of her main concerns is to sell overseas due to the export compliance regulations. She receives a lot of requests, but is afraid to sell to the wrong person.
Yeah, actually that's a very smart thing you did there, Paula. You don't want to sell to the wrong person, right? Because there are strict export compliance, regulations, right? And you want to make sure that what you're selling, you can actually sell in an export fashion, and you want to make sure who you're selling to. And you also want to make sure that who you're selling to, all right, doesn't resell to somebody they're not supposed to sell to, all right? Because those things happen. Okay, so let's say you sell to some Colombia, which the United States allows you to, but they sell to somebody in Venezuela, which we are not allowed to do, right? And that can come back to you, all right? So you're right. So we have folks that can help you. So you can either reach out to us, SBDC, or again, the county has a robust international trade, program, all right? And Paula is the contact. I believe she is the lead contact there. There are several folks, that are expert in the area, right? That can get you started on the right path there, to find out first, what you're selling, and then what are the compliance rules based on what you sell, okay? I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. Definitely, as Rafael said, you can reach out to them, but you can certainly reach out to our office. As he mentioned, Paola Isaac, in my shop, we actually have a guide that we work with the State Department with, as we call 11 Steps to Exporting. So again, when you want to start developing relationships, one of the things that my office can share with you, we can share everyone that the State Department has a relationship with. We can tell you what the rules apply to those that we have that relationship with. And we can tell you which products are primarily received based on those relationships. But most importantly, to Rafael's point and to your question, we want to make sure that you not only know who you're selling to, but what the procedures and the processes and the requirements are to actually do the selling. So by all means, reach out to our office, send that email. And from that email, we'll connect you with Paola, and bare minimum, she'll get the guide to you for 11 Steps to Exporting, but you can certainly reach out to her after that for one-on-one consult. You can certainly join us later on down the road for FITSE, but you don't have to wait all the way to then. We'll certainly take care of you right now.
Yeah.
Vanetta?
Wonderful. Thanks, gentlemen. The next question comes from Craig. How soon can I get started with SBDC? Started my business over 3 years and need help.
Yeah, that's just a matter of going online and signing up for our electronic request for consultation. Okay. It takes, we try to get back to people within 3 to 5 business days. Again, we're in a pandemic mode, so we are dealing with hundreds of businesses, reaching out to us on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, right? So we try to get through them. So we urge patience on your part. But the other thing that we do is we want to make sure that you're clear about the type of help you need so that we can guide you to the right consultant. Okay, so it can take anywhere from 2, maybe 3 weeks before you have your initial consultation. It might be shorter than that, but I like to tell people about 2 to 3 weeks. But we'll get back to you in 3 to 5 days, with the respond email, letting you know, hey, let us set up some time. So it's not, this is not going to take months and months. Okay, so we'll try to get you in as soon as possible. Right, there you go.
Thanks, Rafael.
No problem.
Our next question comes from Fernando. It is quite a lengthy question, but I'll try to summarize it. He's a part of 2 startups, sole owner of one and helping with the other. Sport Contender X is one of them. And we are in the community and have been through Corona. He is now focused on an eSport program that will partner with the city. They have relationships, but don't have a business plan yet. He will be working on that, but would like help. And also getting certifications, getting my ideas more on paper. What would be the first step for him?
All right, so I'm going to take this one, Sandy, because this is one of those straight no chasers. Okay, you answered your own question, Fernando. Your first step is getting your ideas on paper, because right now they're just ideas. And if you're involved in 2 businesses, okay, one is owner, okay, and the other one you're helping, all right, you're already spreading yourself in 2 different directions, even if the businesses are related, right? So you need to be clear. I take out 2 pieces of paper. I'd lock myself in a room for 3 hours with no phone, okay, and a pen, not a pencil, because you don't want to erase anything. And think about one business and start just jotting down things that come to your mind of that business on 1 piece of paper, the front and back. And then the other piece of paper, jot down the ideas on the other business. And then walk away from that, come back to it about 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours later, read what you wrote. And then that's the basis of your draft business plan for both of those businesses. I would not even begin to think about getting certified and everything else until you have a clear 2 to 3 page plan or synopsis of what are you going to do with these businesses, how they're going to go, right? Because if you're working 2 at the same time, you really, really, really have to manage your time and manage yourself as a resource. And you have to make sure that you have the team to support you to make sure those 2 businesses are going to work. Because what winds up happening is you wind up with 2 mediocre businesses that fail instead of 2 great businesses that do well. Because you pull yourself back and you wind up being a fireman. When a fire happens here, you run there. When a fire happens here, you run there. Okay, so first step is this weekend, you don't go anywhere. You sit, lock yourself in a room, and you start to put your ideas on paper. Okay, and this does not have to be beautiful writing. This is not, proper English or Spanish or Creole, whatever language you're writing. It is getting ideas in bullet point form down on paper. Get what's in here out. Remember, analysis is the opposite of synthesis. Synthesis is to bring things together, synthesize. Analysis is to take it apart. But if you don't have anything, you can't analyze it, right? Can't analyze an idea. That's just an idea. You got to write it down on paper, so then you can have help analyze it, right? And once you have that down on paper, then you reach out to the county, Sandy's team, you reach out to us, and we begin to help you formalize that plan and take the next steps, okay? Because within the plan, you'll have the next steps. That's the action part of the plan, okay? So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks a lot. Next question comes from Lorik Ingram. Who is the contact person for Tech Runway?
Right now, that'd be me, because we need to know what you need. Tech Runway is a very specific, very, very specific program. All right, so we don't send people directly to the Tech Runway, because first we want to determine that they actually need to engage with the Tech Runway, because the Tech Runway is a very, very specific and very limited program, because you have to go through a process to get involved in the Tech Runway program. All right, so she can send a message to us later, something like that, letting us know what type of business that she has, or what type of business she wants to get involved in. Okay, and then we can let her know if truly she needs to engage with the Tech Runway, or are there other resources that are better for her. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next question comes from Vernette Antoinette. We have several in here. Miss Antoinette, I'm gonna skip you for a moment and ask that you kind of clarify your question so that we may be able to ask them properly. So I'll go down and I'll come back to you. The next one comes from Galaxy Note. Do you assist with getting someone certified with the state? For example, electrical license, what is required?
Oh, yeah, Sandy, you can take that, or I can take that, however you want to handle that one.
Yeah, so if you want to send us a direct email, we'll tell you what the steps are with the state based on your particular industry, because it's not only getting your licenses with the state, it's also the required licenses of the county that you're going to be operating in. And actually the state right now, it's a funny thing you mentioned that the state right now is dealing with a legislation by the time they come back out of session that's going to deal with different licenses and license requirements based on different industries. So August is going to be a little bit different than this past May. Send an email to our shop. I'm going to connect you with my guy, Jeff Smith, and we're going to take your industry, even if it's electrical or whatever, and we'll tell you what the current process is. And we'll also forward you the necessary link so that you would be able to determine what license is needed based on your industry and what the process is to actually get that license.
And I want to add to that, because if somebody's asking about getting certified with the state or getting certified with the federal government, again, we at the SBDC, we like to think about things strategically. Everyone on this call that owns a business, that's selling something or providing a service, if you are not county certified, I would be asking you why not, okay? Because, you know, your county is here providing you this resource, right? So if you have a good service or product, why would you not want to sell it to the county? The county buys lots of things, okay? And why shouldn't they buy from you? Now, the county has a support system in place, okay? So that when you get certified by the county, so Sandy's team are expert in helping you do this, right? So this should be part of your strategy, right? To expand your market penetration, right? So now you become certified in the county, and then guess what? Now you're selling to the county and you're selling to your customers, right? And then maybe you start to think about international trade. So now you have 3 markets that you're dealing with, right? So you're dealing with the international market, you're dealing with the government market, and you're dealing with the regular market. All right, so this is how you grow a business. This is how you think about strategically expanding your business, okay? So it's important for you to understand that the county has a robust, okay, and a very, very good, okay, county certification program, all right? Excuse me, and they make it really easy, okay? I'm old enough and I've been around long enough to remember when getting certified by the county was a nightmare, okay? I mean, it was really hard to do, all right? And they have worked hard to simplify that process and still make it meaningful, all right? So the county needs to be congratulated, because there's some places in the United States where, you know, you're going to fill out 15 pages, you know, 30, 40, 50 pages to get certified by the county. Not here in Broward County, All right. They're very, very receptive and very, very understanding about the needs of small business and the economic development, activities. So again, I'm putting a plug in there directly for Sandy and his team and their program. You need to get involved with their program because why not, right? You should be doing this if you have good products and services to sell. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I finished, the day without me saying that.
Thanks a lot. We have a couple more questions in the Q&A, but I will switch over to Pam so she can address a few that are in the chat.
All right, good morning. The first question is a very basic one, and that is, Rafael, do you work with nonprofit business?
Yes, we work with nonprofits. Not all nonprofits, but we do work with nonprofit businesses because to us, a nonprofit is just a tax designation. You still have to run it well. So we do work with not-for-profit. Short answer, yes.
Thank you.
Hello?
We lost you, Dan Bird.
Hello? Yes, we did. Okay, I'll go back. Yeah, I'll go back to the Q&A area, and then when Pam comes back, we'll let her keep going. The next one is from Wayne Fang. I need some help with selling to the government. Do you offer assistance with getting SAM registration and acquiring GSA contracts?
Yes, with SAM, yes, with GSA, but the help with selling to the government will depend on what you're selling and how far along and other things like that, your capability statement. So yeah, but that's something that we can help you with. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Next question comes from Alexandria Estevez. Could I get help building my business plan?
Yeah, we don't write business plans for people because you have to be intimately involved with your business plan. So you write it, we review it, we give you comments on it, and we help you, build the business plan. That's exactly what we help you do. So yes, we can help you with that.
Okay, moving on. Lorik Ingram, he was the gentleman. He's identified that he is a he that inquired about the tech runway. He's wanting to know what email should he send it to. The comment that your response, Rafael, was to email.
Yeah, no, he can sign up for electronic requests for consulting, and then we can talk to him about, what his business is, what his ideas, and then we can assess at that point if, okay, the tech runway is a resource he needs or something else is the resource he needs.
Okay, great. Miss Antoine has clarified her question. How would one reference disaster with regards to the business of real estate when there are no building or structural damages?
No, you still have to have a disaster plan in place because if you're selling real estate, I assume that if you're selling real estate and you're not a real estate owner, okay, you're selling real estate, all right, you still, if the area that you're farming, okay, in real estate, there's a term called farming, right? And it means marketing in a specific community, right? So in the area of your farming, if a hurricane comes by and destroys that area, okay, what's your plan to move into another area to farm, to collaborate with other real estate agents and brokers, okay, to lend support to the area? So yes, even as a real estate broker that doesn't own properties, all right, you want to have a plan in place, a disaster plan in place. Now, if you do own properties, then you definitely want a disaster plan in place. You want to know how you're going to access capital and how you're putting away cash. So, if you get damage and you cover with your insurance. So yeah, any business, whether it's a service or a product or manufacturing, should have some type of disaster in place, because you as a real estate broker, even if you're a real estate agent working from home, okay, and your personal home gets damaged, so your home office gets damaged, well, did all of your data and all your contacts go with that? Or do you have them backed up somewhere in the cloud or backed up someplace safe so that you can access them? All right, so that's a short answer to that question.
Okay, great. One more, and then I'll go back to Pam because I think she's back on. From Julie, how can I get my event planning business noticed and certified?
Yeah, okay, those are two big questions. Getting certified, relatively easy, because again, I already mentioned the county certification and process. For a business, I don't know how long you've been in business and I don't know how big your business is, but I would start with a county certification if you're interested in certification. Now, getting your business notice, that's a whole other discussion. That's marketing and branding strategy. We can talk to you about that, okay? Because if you're doing event planning, what type of events, how big, how small, are they corporate, are they private, or so on and so forth. So we need to ask you some questions. But there are a lot of ways to get businesses noticed, and that's your marketing plan, right? That's part of your business plan. So you definitely can help, sign up sbdc.fau.edu, again, sbdc.fau.edu, and just click on the link that says, you want consulting, and put your name in there and some basic data information, and let them know you want help in the marketing area, and we guide you to the right person. Now, if you put in there that you're referred because of this event, Rafael, event, and I need help in marketing, so they'll know where you're coming from. All right, there you go.
Okay. Pam?
Okay, thank you. This is Pam, and I have a question from Laura Hernandez. It could be for both Sandy and Rafael. It says, good morning, thank you for the great information. I have already a company, but I'm in the process of opening another one to import high impact windows and frames from Spain. Who would give me the appropriate information with all requirements for import and details?
I would say definitely reach out to us. Definitely reach out to us. And I'm gonna say this as an answer to this question, but I read a couple of other questions that was also similar. What it looks like some of our audience is either missing or not allowing to connect. Folks, being in business, starting a business, doing a business, as a part of the process, the beginning to that is R&D, research and development. If you haven't, and I'm gonna give you real analogies, back in my old younger days, back in DC, back in the late 80s and the 90s, when we were working with small businesses, and when we were doing and writing business plans, when we had to research, we really had to research. We were getting paid, and it would take us 3 months, 7 months to do basic research. Folks, today, your Google and your Bing, all the business analysis tools, you can do your research in an hour, max 3 hours. But everything you're asking about is research. So let's take the question. You want to do impact windows from Spain on the import side, not the export side. That is actually a question that you can put in. And based on the county or the state, it would tell you exactly what you need to do. That minimum information, I would then say, knock on my door and let my staff person tells you relevant to Fort Lauderdale, relevant to Port Everglades, what it actually takes to participate. But again, some of the information, and this is another part that Rafael was also describing earlier, folks, some of the information is actually a part of the homework you must do. In order for someone to even aid you, you have to be in a position that your question is one that can be answered. And what do I mean that your question need to be one that can be answered? Questions and consultation, folks, is truly dialogue. So other than putting it out there, we might have 1 or 2 more questions for you. You got to be in a position to answer them. What's the thing about owning a business, operating a business, starting a business? I got to become the expert in my industry. I need to know everything about that industry. I need to know everything about the competitors in that industry. I need to know what I do better than them. I need to know what they do better than me. And I need to be able to introduce who I am and what I'm doing, even to grow my market, let alone start my market. So I'm saying all of that because guess what? We do workshops as well, free again. We're part of Kaufman International Fast Track to work with entrepreneurs. So we got 2 different workshops. One is called The Intentional Entrepreneur. That's making sure, as Rafael started in the beginning, you know what's going to happen if you want to be an entrepreneur. You're really learning that it's not a 9 to 5. So that's a workshop to make sure we really understand, put all the hurdles in your way, scare the mess out of you, not to deter you from doing it, but just making sure you're going to make a decision that you're willing to invest in for the success of your business. The second workshop we do is listening to your business. You're in business 3 to 5 years. We want to make sure that you appreciated those first 3 to 5, but more importantly, you have a plan on how to go beyond those first 3 to 5 into the next 3 to 5. And we want to take a look at all the things you did as well as what you didn't do to make sure that you can overcome those and do better going forward. I'm saying that because we will still take any question, including this last one, and I do want you to send that in writing. We are going to respond, but we're going to challenge you as well as disseminate information to you that will not only further you along, but it would also help to give you the answer to where to find the research. Again, importing. You heard me say that we got a guide for 11 steps to exporting, so we can tell you that with our eyes closed. You just asked about importing. We will lead you to the right links and have consultation with you that hopefully will support how you and those windows from Spain can make it happen here in the United States.
Okay, that is the questions that I have at this time.
Okay, thanks, Pam. We have a few more in the Q&A area. This one for Sandy from Miss Antoinette. One can only get so much training and make so many strategic plans, but if there's no one to strategically help them to put together the correct data for financing, then one is dead in the water. Who specifically to contact to get direct help to register a business? Who can help? Because what you say in Florida determines your results of obtaining resources as opposed to spinning one's wheels.
So that's again about a consult. So matter of fact, I want to use this as an example. Tell that person to contact me directly. Because again, when you start talking about scaling a business, when you start talking about identifying finances, when you start talking about creating the data or identifying the data or taking the data from the strategy in order to have access to capital, that's something that I'm going to be able to know because you're going to be able to share with me, per what Rafael said earlier, everything about your business and your industry. What is the data that you need to know in terms of having access to capital beyond those 5 C's for that credit score in terms of cash, collateral, credit, character, cash worthiness, beyond what the banks are talking about? Your data is really going to be generated from knowing your business A through Z, from having a solid business plan to understanding your market. These are key components to a business plan that generates the data, which is your strategy to find access to capital. Because in case you didn't know, and I'm sure you did, there's different markets who want to actually fund you. Some want this information, some want that information. So yes, we can help to show you, based on information we'll get from you, which of these funding sources might be best. But again, you will have to come knowing your industry. As you stated in your question, yep, you can only do so much strategy, but so much strategic planning means you have all the information about what it is that you say you do. And based on that information, and then having all the information that we would need to know about you and who you are, matching that information on the business, we can show you who might be the best access to capital. So again, we want to make sure that you're in position before you go to them. So you send us an email, we will schedule that consult. Again, saying as a vote of encouragement, businesses and those in business, you have to know you and your business. So right, you can only do so much strategic planning, but it's the strategic planning that you've done that now needs to align with who you are, your financial status, your capacity, your plan for market growth. Combine those two, we take that information and we show you which of these financial institutions or lending institutions might be the best access to capital. And sometimes it's not even a lending institution. It could be a seed investor, a capitalist investor, a venture investor. But again, we'll get all of this from you. So we will definitely make sure to get you your information. So please email me directly and we will set up your consult.
Wonderful. We have 2 more items that are in the Q&A area. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and direct those, but I'll launch the poll so that people can respond to it and give us their feedback on this session. We have a comment from Marcella Rogenberg. We at Safety Matters, CBE, SBE, DBE, MWBE certified, need consultation on market growth and strategies for local, counties, and state agencies and business development. We used to export safety construction material only, but with the pandemic, we have gotten as much certifications as we could to open markets locally.
We'll certainly reach out to our office because again, for the local side, we can certainly navigate you through those processes. It certainly sounds as if you got all the necessary certifications. Actually, I believe my staff has a workshop coming up next week or the following week. And for us specifically, it says certified now what? One of the workshops we do is we make sure after you certify that, of course, we want to give you your kudos and your applause for being certified. But now it's about making sure you understand the program, the process, and the people that we can help you navigate exactly how to put those certifications to use to make sure that your product knows exactly which markets via the county specifically dealing with us that you should be tapping into, and the strategy you should be using before there's ever a bid. One of the unique things that we try to show our small businesses and truly understanding strategy and aligning one, I often tell my small businesses, if the first time you find out about a bid is when the bid comes out in the bid portal, you're late. So we offer all the tips to make sure that in advance, the small businesses are aware of other ways of getting information that's going to help them put together information that's going to put them in the best position by time the bid comes out. So you can certainly just send an email to request a consult, certainly attend that upcoming session, Certified Now What? And I think between the consult and that session, we should be able to answer all the questions you may have.
Thank you, Sandy. The next question, we actually had a couple more questions added to the Q&A, but Jean asks, how secure is your business ideas and or plans when seeking assistance from the SBDC? And Rafael, I believe that one is for you.
Yeah, and that's a great question because one of the key things that are most important to the SBDC is what we call confidentiality. Right. So once you sign on with us, the electronic request for consulting, you're actually signing at the bottom. It'll say that the information stays confidential, and unless you let us know in writing, we don't share it with anybody. So we're very, very, very serious about confidentiality. So again, we see thousands of businesses a year. All right. So your idea, while it may be very, very important to you, okay, we see a lot of people's important ideas. Right, and we see a lot of people's important documentation and their credit reports and their taxes and things like that, and we keep all of that confidential, and we always have. All right, so it's secure, okay, and we're not sharing with anybody.
Thank you, Rafael. Another comes from Marilyn Lightborn Oshodi. Can a nonprofit become certified by the county or state?
Well, for the county's program, our program is about 98, close to 99% for profit. Think of the county small business program in this manner. The county looks to procure, that means buy, any good material or service that the county buys. We're trying to buy from certified small business. Most of the procurement we do for the for-profit side. Now, the reason I said 98 or verging on 99 is there is a small percentage of nonprofit activity that the county does procure through different services and partners. So we want to definitely make sure that you would be familiar with our human service agency because that's where most of the nonprofit activity happens within the county as well as the cities. But when you look at the county in its entirety, from owning an airport to a seaport where the cruise ships flow out, to owning government buildings, to all the libraries, to all the parks, owning a bus system, all the county roads. Think about all the things we buy to do what we do every day. Those are 98+% for-profit activities. So that's what we try to make sure we engage our for-profit businesses. And what the county got to buy anyway, why not make sure we buy some from small businesses right here in Broward? But I don't want to say there's no nonprofit procuring, because there is some, and we would be able to connect you with our human service division, where most of those things happen on behalf of social service activities, youth and juvenile activities, some of the family activities, some of the Broward Addiction Recovery Center type activity, some of those things relevant to nonprofit, the county does procure from nonprofit agencies.
Thank you, Sandy. Last question. Are there fees for your services?
Well, for the SBDC, like I said before, it's not free because it's prepaid by your tax dollars. So it doesn't cost you anything now. There's no cost to you now, right? Because it's already been prepaid by your tax dollars. So we do not charge for our consulting services. No.
That's same for Broward County. Your tax dollars is already paid for our office, paid for our consult, paid for the program, paid for any opportunities that we have that can help you start a business, grow your existing business, do business with the county, or just better your opportunity as a business in Broward. Any and everything you see on the website for our office is actually free. You already paid for it.
Great. I did move one question over prematurely, but Sandy Harrigan asks a question. Do you offer assistance with grant writing for bidding of government contracts?
We actually are going to be trying to make sure we have a couple of workshops by the end of this calendar year. We're looking to do one that's going to be specific to the bid process with Broward County. We'll do that with procurement, but we just spoke with the outreach manager early in June about also doing one to make sure that our vendors not only understand the bid process through procurement, but the actual bids themselves. So we're going to take a couple of county examples from different agencies and do a workshop to show you the bid side. Now, buzzword, I heard you say like a grant application. We're doing it from the procurement side because what the county does is more on the bid, RFP, RFI, RFQ, and hard bids for goods, materials, and services. We do have as a list of small businesses who are certified and registered with us, different vendors who actually provide grant writing across the board that help small businesses to not only respond to bids, but also try to find services as well as dollars. So I don't want to mix the two. And we're certainly, again, down the road in May of next year, we already got that scheduled with outside vendors coming to help instruct our small businesses in grant writing, but from the county's hard bid, RFP, response for proposal, RFI, response for information, RFQ, response for quote. From that perspective, we will be doing sessions before the end of this year, making sure everyone knows and is even familiar with the forms to actually do bidding with Broward County.
Great. And that ends all of our questions. I see no more open questions in our Q&A. And I believe Pam addressed all of the questions that were in the chat. If we have any other folks that are on that haven't completed our poll, please do so now. We're going to close the poll momentarily. And with that, I turn it over back to Mr. McDonald to close out. Thank you.
Okay, well, then I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Again, we will eventually get back to the day when we're face to face that so many of you have appreciated the last 7 years minus COVID, and actually 6.5 because we didn't do it during COVID and we're doing a whole lot of virtual these days. But it's just important to recognize, even with the disconnect, the ideal as we started off with We are here to support you as a business, small business, startup business, entrepreneur, or just a person with a concept. And again, the county wants to assure that small businesses from our end have access to being a part of the community program where certified businesses are actually used on a regular basis. And we're also here today, as we have been twice now, and we'll be doing later on this year, introducing you to another one of our community partners, another one of our connections, who also not just support our program, but make sure that you are aware of what's regional, state, or federal access to information to help grow your business. And again, some of the best consult can happen one-on-one. Virtual work, sometimes it doesn't work. And that's why you've heard throughout. We are open. I am open to receiving the direct request for the one-on-one, whether that's, and we are getting back. I need to say that if I didn't say it, we are getting back to the face-to-face, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's still virtual, or whether it's old school conference call. We just want to make sure everyone recognizes we are here to help you and your business. We are here to take you to the next level. And if it's about starting, we're here to make sure you have all the information that you need to get started. And again, and you heard me allude to this earlier, the ideal of challenging the business is to make sure that they recognize that we already know. The fact that you're interested is the first step to commitment. The fact that you ask a question is the meaning to your commitment. Our ideal of pushing is never to be degrading or never to be what might be considered moving someone away from an idea. It's to be supportive to the fact that if you're interested, and I think you heard Rafael say it too, if you're interested and serious, so are we. But we want to make sure, and I'm going to give you some Kaufman International Fast Track true statistics. South Florida, that includes Broward County, we are one of the top 3 in the country with startup new businesses. Kaufman Fast Track International, one of the programs that we also participate, says Broward County in South Florida is one of the top 3 in new startup businesses. That's a beautiful thing, and we applaud it. But then Kaufman turns right back around and says Broward County in South Florida is also one of the top 3 in businesses that fail within the first 3 years. So if we're serious about that, our job is to make sure every single small business, every single entrepreneur, every single person with that dream and concept really understands that we're in it to make you successful. We don't want no more ribbon cuttings. I want to see you 10 and 15 years down the road. That means we're past the ribbon cutting. So we try to make sure we give all the information that's necessary up front. But as you've also heard me say a few times, even with that information and or that pushback, if you're committed, so are we. And every access or resource we have, we want to make sure we make that available to you. So again, please feel free to email us. And again, staff will tell you, I'm similar to Rafael. I might not always be available, but I take every single inquiry. And if it can start with me, your one-on-one consult starts with me, and then we move you to where you need to be. There's 3 people who read my emails every single day. We try to make sure no one falls through the crack. So start with the consult. Reach out to us. And I know you're busy, but attend some of the workshops that might be of value. But again, start with the consult. We are open to working with you. I am professionally open to working with you. And I just thank you for joining us today. And Rafael, thank you again, sir, for working with us, for being the partner that I've had bare minimum the last 8 years, and for everything that the SBDC does on behalf of the business community here in Broward and throughout the region. And with that, folks, we want to thank you all. And I do need, before I leave here, I do need Miss Laura Hernandez to please make sure you call me or email me. Thank you kindly. And I think staff just put my email and phone number up on the screen. Thank you all, and everyone have a beautiful day and a blessed weekend.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sandy. Have a great one.